That was exciting.
It gets exciting fast here. You never know what's going to happen.
Oh my God! I can't believe that.
There are guys shaking each other's hands. Because that guy, the newsy guy, went and sat down, and then the guy in front of him turned around and was like, "Thank you for whatever you did. Like you represent something up there. Like I don't know what you said. They might work together, but I want to think that he was like, thank you so much for what you said. It was so brave." It reminds me of my jury duty story. Did I ever tell my jury duty story up here when I was in Milwaukee?
It was way before podcast time and probably before.
I'm going to breeze through it really fast.
I tell the story as much as you do, probably. Because
it was the greatest day of my life. It was the only day when I was as much a hero as the Hobbitses and the Bobbitses.
Will you do me a favor? Will you take this 5-minute story and break it up over 3 podcasts? Get us into your car and driving to jury duty.
The first one takes you to me showing up at the courthouse, and then I insert a whole scene where Sean Astin says, "Think about it this way." You're right. This is a good ending. I went to jury duty.
The year is 1972.
Close. It was like 90-something. I was still in Milwaukee. I was a very young, spry little child, little writer and improviser living in Milwaukee. And I went to jury duty. Never gone to jury duty before. And you spend the whole time, you get quickly indoctrinated into the culture of, I got to get out of here. Like this is, we're the suckers. We got to get out of here. Like the people explaining it to you, no one's going like, congratulations on jury duty. Like they know that they need to ingratiate themselves to you by saying, sorry, you're at jury duty. And they're right to do that. It's like, it's a drag if you're over 12. It might be exciting for someone who still thinks pencils might be spaceships. You could maybe occupy yourself. Everyone else wants to kill themselves. So you spend the whole time like getting called and not called, and you're like you're told like, oh, you're on the precipice of getting dismissed, and then like we were so close to, me and my group, we were so close to getting out, and then we got called for this case, and we're like, fuck you. Like at that point, you go through phases where you go, I kind of actually, I don't want to seem uncool to my peers here, but I actually kind of think it would be cool if I got called in and like someone murdered someone and I had to decide who murdered someone. You have these thoughts in your head, like I'm going to be a juror and it's going to be amazing. But then that quickly fades and you go, I got to get out of here. Please let me, I'm so close. And then they call you and you have to go and you shuffle into the courtroom. And we end up in the jury box and it's all kind of random. And I ended up the juror number 1. I was like sitting in the front. It's kind of randomly arranged, and there's this kid sitting there. Looked like he was like 16 years old. No idea how old he was, but
the defendant.
Yes, the defendant.
Yeah. Okay. I checked
the
that
judge.
Well. Yeah. Okay.
Sorry. No, I will edit out whatever bored you.
No, I just yeah. Slow rap.
Slow story.
Sorry. No, it's not a slow story. I just wasn't. Go ahead.
Turns out the kid was like a pot like possession thing. This kid lived in the outskirts of Wisconsin, and he was walking down a highway. They give you all the details of the case, and he was walking down like a county highway in his like little rural area of the free fire zone, Sector 7, where there's probably nothing to do but smoke pot. And a cop started coming, probably the only cop where he lives. And the kid like had a pipe, and it had a little bit of resin in it. And he like chucked his pipe into like a bunch of corn. Like walking, he was just walking. He was like, oh fuck, there's a cop coming. It kind of went like this. Cop like stopped and got out and went through the corn and found the pipe and took the kid in and at some point the kid apparently, and this is why he's my hero, must have exercised his right to trial by jury for this thing. because here I am now, and these other people, and they explain the details of the case, and then they say the thing that's like, I'm sure most of you have been on jury duty. There's like that moment where they go, does anyone feel like they wouldn't be able to be impartial in this case? And then like you see like the Jehovah's Witness lady raise her hand, and you watch her get to walk the fuck out, and you're like, "Where's Jehovah Witness?" Like you're trying, like, and then the person who was a victim of
because they have witness in the name. It's,
it used to be this has changed now, by the way, because I just recently did jury duty in LA, and they were like, "Fuck you, fuck all of that." Like there's a portcullis comes down, and they're like, "Nice try, asshole." But back then it was like someone went, "I'm a Jehovah's Witness. Like, get the fuck out. I can't sit in judgment of others." And then someone else, "I was a victim of a violent crime. Fuck you. My friend's a cop. Go fuck yourself. Get out. Go home. Go play Nintendo." And you're like, "Well," and so like this one was like handed to me on a silver platter, because the truth is like of course I'm not going to judge this impartially. Like, leave the kid alone. It's like he might end up being a senator if you don't bust him now for a fucking dumbass pipe full of a stupid thing that grows out of the ground. It's like arrest the cop, throw him off a cliff. Like that. I'm sure neither choice will measurably improve society, but there's a better chance that if the cop like exploded. I'm not impartial. That's my point. I'm partial. I have a feeling.
And a cop killer.
I don't mean that. I just mean that they exploded. I don't. If you're a police officer, I don't drive a silver Prius. I don't really. I'm not like. There's a lot of great people who are cops and whatever. I don't mean.
You would
it
like to see them explode, apparently.
I meant like biologically, like sci-fi wise. I didn't mean like Al Qaeda. See what society's become? This story takes place in a different universe before a lot of things went down. The judge goes, "Does anyone think that they wouldn't be able to be impartial about this?" And my hand shot up like a rocket, because I was like, holy shit, I actually can't be impartial. I'm going to get out of jury duty. And I raised it, and everyone kind of chuckled, like, "Oh, well, this young man's hand sure went up fast." And I was juror number 1, which made me the jury foreman should it actually go to the thing. And then they're like, "Okay, sir, what's your problem?" And I said, "Well, I don't think that this law should be a law." So I think that any kind of legal proceeding about it, the whole time I'm going to be thinking like, well, let's just get out of here. And that makes me like I'm not going to be able to be impartial, because I don't see the crime here. And they're like, "Well, no, but it is a crime. We didn't ask you if you think it should be a crime. We asked you if you think you could judge him." And like they started really laying into me, and I was like, "Well, yeah, but I'm telling you, like the customer's always right. You asked the question, like, do you think that I would be able to judge it impartially? Like who are you going to believe over me when I say no?" And what better answer than because I think this is a plant that grows out of the ground, and I don't think he was hurting anybody, and I think that, it's your business if, the larger society wants to have a big war on like some kind of controlled substance, and I can't step into that because that's a big mess, but I see a kid and I see a dumb pipe and I see a lot of wasted time and I want to get out of here, and I think it's like, I just kind of like answered honestly. And then they kept like, then the prosecutor got up and was like, "No, I want to ask him a question. Now, but don't you understand that it's illegal?" It's, "Yes, but I don't think it should be. I don't think it should be. I don't know how many times to say this." And so we went back and forth for like 10 minutes. It was crazy. And I'm not exaggerating. Like, I hope
Spencer Tracy got up and he had a fan.
I hope you can trust me by now to know that like I wouldn't exaggerate. Like I told you I shoved a Sharpie pen up my ass. I don't like, if this story involved me being less than amazing, I would tell you. Like the weird thing is I was awesome in this story. It was an accident. They made me awesome. I just went back and forth with them, and so then they're like, "Oh, fine, whatever." And then because I was juror number 1 and everyone watched that happen, then they go, "Okay, let's move on. Does anyone else feel that they would be not be able to be impartial?" And like 8 hands went up. including, and I'm not kidding, it was like a fucking like rom-com, like an old woman, like a really old, like brought knitting to jury duty, like not ironically Winona Ryder knitting, but like knitting like her clothes for things, like for her cat, like raised her hand, like everybody, and they went down like, okay, now what about you? And I was like, well, I think it's, I guess like the young man said, like, and then everybody, they went down the line. I was like, well, I guess it's like he said, and the judge was like this, he's like clapping his hand. Because humanity is a resource. It's like Soylent Green in the courthouse. Like, they need to flood these channels with human fucking bodies, and you can revolt and go, no, you need us to technically make the courthouses work. We don't want to be here. We want to poop on you.
It's in the Constitution. They tell you when you go to jury duty that you're only there to judge the evidence, but in the Constitution it actually says no. You're also there to judge the validity of the law itself.
Yeah, you're there because you are the law. You're Judge Dredd.
You are allowed to say, what if I don't like the law? They go, that's not what we're doing. They go, well, the Constitution says otherwise. And if you, by the way, if you want to get out of jury duty, stand and go, what's the court's stance on jury veto? They go, see you later. They will validate your parking and give you a fucking bean burrito. And just say,
so all this, everyone's going, it was late in the day, and everyone's going like, I think what the young man said, I was like, he wasn't hurting anyone. And the judge went, guys, and the two lawyers came up and they went, and they all walked away. They all left. And then they went to the kid who was sitting there. Now nobody but the jury just sitting there, like.
Are you smoking a big cigar at this point? Or you're like
not quite. Well, yeah, I guess in my head I am, but but this is the thing that reminded that moment when the guy turned and congratulated, because the old woman who was sitting in front of me, she turned in her chair and she put her ginger paper wonderful Hallmark hand on my thigh and said, I just want to tell you, I think what you did was very brave. Brave?
The great adventure.
I love getting high, and I want to get out of jury duty, and I'm also brave. Amazing jackpot, and everyone was like, yeah, I was afraid to say something because I was, it's like it's a courthouse. Yeah, then they're gonna come to your house. I was like, no, what, you guys comfortable living in that society? You really think that if you were in jury duty and said, well, I got a problem with this, that you'd go home and there'd be a cop going, well, smarty pants. Sounds like you like the reefer. Now we got your name and number.
We'll shut you down, Harmon.
Stay away from the pool hall. Make that happen sooner than later if you think that's possible.
But now that's what's closer to the world we live in now, for certain.
People yeah. Well, because you sure can't get out of jury duty anymore. So
jury veto.
So the judge comes back with the lawyers. Everybody, the kid is going. He's got a big giant smile on his face, and the judge says, what happened is it's late in the day, and we just sort of settled the matter in chambers, and so there's no more case, and you guys are free to go, but I would like to talk to you in the hallway. The judge said
to you, the jurors.
Yeah. Could you please meet me around front? I'd like to talk to you for a moment. So you're all free to go. And we all get up out of the jury box and we all walk over to the doorway where the judge, in his little robe, big robe, sorry, society, and his crown, came over and he got, it's like, you guys are free to go. I just want to let you know, I don't approve of what you did in there. But I approve of the system that let you do it. I think it's amazing that you're able to do it, and that's, a lot of people don't understand that's what the justice system is based on, is your ability to do what you did. And I don't, I think something bad happened in there technically, but that's my own personal point of view. as a legal person, I admire what happened in there. I mean, I don't, but I do. And it was like, shut up. What?
I mean,
He was basically saying, as far as I could understand,
marijuana should be illegal, but you guys are legally allowed to override it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, why didn't you take that 15-year-old kid and ruin his life for smoking weed? Because Thomas Jefferson said you could. Fuck off. He was like mad, but like also didn't want to make his forefathers mad. So weird.
Well, he was a guy that actually read the Constitution, and when you go to I went to jury duty. I've been there a couple of times, and the first time I was there, I was like, I don't know, I was in college, so maybe 18 years old. And I was sitting there, and at the LA courthouse down there, I don't know if you guys have been there, but it's a bummer. And I'm sitting there, and there was this bunch of people just sitting there. Some people are really happy about it. They got their juror badges on. They're really excited about it. This is my civic duty. I get to be involved. Like, that's totally fine. If you want to be there, that's a good juror, probably. Someone that wants to be there says, I'm interested. I would like to check this out, and I hope I get a good case. A lot of people are like, I got a kid, I got to babysit later on, I got to go to school, and like, how do I get out of this thing? Well, there was a silent radio going by at the speed of sound, like a little red, digital thing going by, and it was all in mumbo jumbo legalese, saying like, in the event that you with Latin terms and stuff like that. And I read it once, and I waited for it to cycle through again. It's also where the snack bar is and where the restrooms are. And I grabbed this woman next to me, this like, housewifey lady next to me. I'm like, read this with me, and tell me if you think this is what it's saying. And what it said is, if you don't feel like you should be here, you can walk up Hill Street, and if you have the blues by being here right now, you can walk up Hill Street, and you go to the fourth floor of a thing, and you can fill out a form. And I read it 3 or 4 times, and I just got up and walked out, and like some guy's like, "Whoa. Where you going, man?" I'm like, read that thing. He's like, I've been trying to read that thing for a half hour. I'm like, me too. I was like,
it's like, I picture it as like Green Matrix characters. You can read that? Yeah.
But like the silent radio, like it goes by and says, pizza. Our number is like, it goes by too fast. Like, no one's going to get your delivery number on the silent radio out in front of Hard Times Pizza. It goes by too fast. And so I got in the elevator, and then like there was really like a hand stopped the elevator from closing, and there were like 7 people that were like, "We're coming with you." And then like other people saw that, we all got in, and there was people getting up, and they were coming toward us. So we walk up a block across like Hill and whatever that is, Hope or something like that, and we walk up the street, and then we go in a thing, and we go in an elevator, and we look behind us, and there's 15, 20 other people coming. And like what's that? And we're going, where he's going? He's going to do the thing. And I didn't want to be there. I wanted to get out of there. And so we go up to the 4th floor of the place, and an elevator door opens, and a bunch of like women, mostly that work there in the little cubicles, saw the elevator open, and they saw 20 people come out, and they was like, "Oh God!" Like, once a month, somebody reads that fucker.
Another Pied Piper.
So they give you a form that says, "Why don't you want to be here?" And you can say this, you can say that. And so there's like 2 lines. If it's not one of the 4 things they give you as reasons, you can say why. And I was like, I don't believe the way the criminal justice system operates. I went in this big Emma Goldman thing, it's like the system's on trial, and I was like, I wrote on the back of it and filled it up. They're gonna go, okay, this guy's gonna be a bad juror. So I get there, and they read through your stuff, and this woman, she's this black lady with she had crosses, and very Christian black lady, very very nice and very tired of her job. And I sit down, she goes, "All right, Jeff," and she's looking at it, she's reading, she's reading the front, she's like, and she sees it, turns over to the other side, and she sees the other side just dense writing, like Chaucer on the back, and then she's like, and she reads, she gets like halfway through, and she goes, "Jeff, I can't give them this. They're going to make you be a juror. Just go in there, tell them you don't want to be there. They'll probably let you out of it." I go, "I don't want to spend the rest of my week like going through juror selection and doing like I don't want to be here." And they're like, "I can't say that." And I go, "What can I say? What can I write on this piece of paper that gets me out of it?" And she goes, and she stands up a little bit and looks over. She's so sick of me and the job. And she looks back down, like she makes sure no one's listening. She goes, "Say religious." I'm like, "Religious." She goes, she goes, "Write religious on the card." I thought, religious. Like Jeff Davis. No. She goes, "Sign it." And so I John Hancocked it, and she goes, "You're free to go." I'm like, "Tell everybody that." And she's like, "If we told everybody that, there wouldn't be any juries anymore." Now you can't. So I got another summons 10 years later. I thought I was off the books forever. I thought that was I was like done with that. No, they changed the system. I got the jury thing again, and I wrote religious this and that.
And then you got another thing back that said, "Get your ass in here, boy."
Nice try. You'll go to jail. So
yeah.
I went online and I read about juror veto, and I was prepared for that one. But fortunately, I actually had a thing. But
I went in this last time.
I would do jury. By the way, I would do jury duty now. I'm not that busy anymore. I would do it. I'd be interested. I think
that's how I felt. It's like it's the same way I feel about software piracy. Like I stole my ass a lot of Adobe shit. So if I need Photoshop, I made enough money off of using Photoshop for free that like and if I have it, like they get it, and it all worked out for all of us in the end. Like when I was when that $5 a day wasn't going to cover my rent, I was like, fuck jury duty. But now I'm like, okay, I'll go in, I'll do my duty. It's a duty. I was like, if nobody did it, what the fuck are you going to do? What about that kid who's got caught smoking pot by a dick cop? There's a kid out there. You could make a difference. So I went into the LA Superior Court and I went through 2 days of this business, and I'm not. It was just funny because I went through all this thing, and I was like my heart was pumping. I'm like, am I going to try to get out of it? Am I going to like try to say I won't be impartial? But I watched them pick off one by one, and by pick off I mean not pick off. Like the people tried to get out of jury duty. It just said like, no, it's religious, and they're like, fuck you, sit down. Welcome to the jury. And how about you, ma'am? But it got disturbing because there was a woman who stood up and said, I'm a writer and sometime an actor. I've even dabbled in directing. I think I can tell a lady faking being the victim of a violent crime and not wanting to be a part of this and being emotionally traumatized by it. And she was either Meryl Streep or
Penny Marshall.
I watched a woman get abused a second time by the system because she was like, I just can't. She was fucked up about it because they tell you the details of the crime. They go, this guy stabbed this guy, and then this thing happened, and this, and she's like, I can't do this. I've been through this before.
This is not when she's already been on the panel when they're saying when they're really like.
She's on the panel.
Oh, so this is real juror selection.
Yeah,
and
it was okay. Good. Sit back down. And it was like nobody got let go. They did not do any of that business. And I was in the elevator with her, and I turned to her. It was such an awkward moment because I turned to her and I said, like, I can't believe they didn't let you go. And she responded to me like really emotionally, said like, I wasn't trying to get let go. I was just being honest. She thought that I was saying like, yeah, jury duty, right? Fuck this shit. I can't believe they didn't buy that. You know, you know what I mean? Like I felt like I was part of the. I was like, no, I just meant like I can't believe the government is terrible and raped you in there. Oh. But it felt like I was. Oh God, it was the worst. But at the end of it, so I'm not like, okay, I'm doing jury duty because I just watched this lady get trounced. Like, I'm not going to go up there and go, Nanu, I'm racist. I'm not doing it. I'm gonna just so I can tweet it and because that lady's going to be haunting me for the rest of my life. That jury duty is duty. That
better be the name of this podcast. By the way.
Nanu, I'm racist. So I hunkered down for the due diligence, and we end the whole day, and then I go home. I'm busy as fuck. I'm like, I gotta go back. It's a bummer to have to go downtown. It's blah blah blah. You know, first world problems. But I go back, and I'm there, and we show up, and we're waiting outside the courtroom, and we wait, and we wait, and we wait, and then a guy comes out at a certain point and goes like, "There's been a development and you can go to lunch." So I went to lunch. This was the day that the space shuttle was being flown all around LA. I don't know if this is important part of the story. But it was an odd experience for me because I had no idea. I was on jury duty. I was just like I gotta get a drink. It's 11 a.m. and I'd never hang out downtown, so I'm just like walking.
No, you
looked
walk
on my
Vera Street and you go have a margarita. That's what
I looked on my phone for martini icons and was like following it. And as I'm walking across this park, there's like this industrial park downtown, it was like a zombie movie. Like everyone was like looking at a fixed point in the sky, and I kept like 9 times I kept looking for like a suicide jumper, and there was never anything. And I just kept walking. I was like, maybe this is what happens to people when they work downtown. Like maybe they're like cattle. Maybe they're just grazing freedom. Like they're just looking at the moon. Like what would it be like there? You could live in a crater and. Like, no one would ever fuck with you. Just keep looking at it. I was just suck it up into my eyeballs for another 6 hours of data entry. And I couldn't stand it. I was like, what? I just stopped this one lady. I was like, or didn't stop her. She stopped me. Whatever, Harmon. There's a footnote session. I said, what is everybody looking at? I'm really sorry. And she's like, you don't know? And I was like, I don't know. It's just like, the space shuttle's coming. I was like, what do you mean it's coming? Like, what do you mean? What? I still didn't understand.
The Wells Fargo wagons are coming.
they got honey. They got scarves. I didn't do scarf from Neptune. I thought, didn't they decommission that fucking thing? Like what? What do you mean why is it coming to Los Angeles? What is it doing here? But I
looks like space shuttle's coming.
And I just kept walking between people and went into an empty like P.F. Chang's or something. And it was like, give me everything you have behind the bar, because I had to go back to jury duty. Watched that, figured it out on the TV. They're like, oh, they're taking the space shuttle everywhere. They're flying it all around all over the goddamn place for some reason. Some weird.
While you were there, I got a text from Dino and you saying the space shuttle's flying around.
Right.
And Dino was saying he was at the drawing room, our little local bar.
Yeah, it flew right over the drawing room.
And I was like, what? As I live, half a mile, quarter of a mile from there. I'm like, I didn't hear it go by, and so I was sitting on my toilet taking a shit, as one does, and I hear, and I was like, please let my phone be here, and I grabbed my phone, pulled the blinds up, and I have a shot I put on Instagram of the space shuttle flying over my bathroom window.
I just watched it on the news.
That's
and
awesome.
Everyone in the bar was like watching on the TV, and they were going, "It's coming, it's coming," and then they kept running out. I was like, it looks better on the TV, like way better.
No,
I don't know.
It looked pretty cool. I have friends that were like downtown.
Also, there's a cash register here now.
It was really low. They flew that thing incredibly low.
So I go because they were tooling it. I mean, I guess that's kind of cool that they were like just showing it off.
It was saying fuck you to the rest of the cities that bid to have it in their museum, and it's like, we got your space shuttle, fucker.
It was like L.A. going like, yeah, it's cool to be in L.A. There's more here than just riots. Yeah. There's outer space.
Yeah.
Hey, black people, we may expand out so much that you stop being the victims of crime.
Wow.
Okay.
Nanu.
That was reverse race. I was being Alan Alda about that. So I go back. I traipse my corpse back to the courthouse, and we wait again for another like hour and a half. It's like so to recap here, like the whole like from morning to lunch, like. We were just waiting, and something weird happened, and then the bailiff just told us to fuck off and go have lunch and come back. So we all come back. So now I've been downtown all day. I come back. We wait another hour. The bailiff comes out and goes like, he goes, come on in, guys. And we all shuffle in, and we knew something was fishy because he didn't tell us, like, 674, go to the left. Like, it was just like, get in here, assholes. And so we all shuffled in and sat down, and the judge was like, well,
Johnny Carson, rather?
This is weird, wild stuff, but,
you're free to go. And he didn't explain anything. He's like, you're free to go. Okay, all right. It was like, what happened yesterday? They were at the elevators, and I saw one of the attorneys, and they tell you don't talk to the attorneys until after the case. And so as I said, one of them, waiting for the elevator, the case is over, right? So can I ask you what happened? And the prosecutor looked at the DEA. Am I getting those terms right?
Probably assistant DA.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm sure I wasn't. Sam Waterston wasn't there. But I just mean there were the two opposing attorneys, and they kind of looked at each other like as if to ask themselves, like, "Is it okay to answer the question?" And then said, "Yeah, he didn't show up." So this kid who needed a translator in court because he was like, it was a gang thing. Like he stabbed somebody, and I'm assuming I'm allowed to talk about this now. I'm not blowing the roof off of this thing. There was a stabbing and blah blah blah, and he had a translator in the courtroom, and the translators could only work in shifts, so there was like always some James Carville guy walking in and trading out, like tagging out. It was the weirdest thing in the world. And this kid just sat there for a day, wasted my fucking time. Don't stab me, kid, if you're listening. And then the next day he was like, "I'm not fuck this." Like he just left.
He just boned out.
Yeah, I guess it's what I'd do if I stabbed someone, or didn't, and everyone thought I did.
Maybe he stole the space shuttle.
It might have been him in the space shuttle. All right, stupid jury duty. We spent the whole night talking about jury duty.
Well, real quick, when I was sitting in the big, like when you sit out in the gallery out there, and they're saying like, who has conflicts, who has this, and you all write it down. You hope you get kicked out, and they're going to. I have a thing. I'm going out of town. Is it a vacation? Yeah. When are you going? Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Stay. You can go. You have you're taking care of an elderly woman. You can leave. So some people were going. Some people were kind of on hold. And she comes to me, and I had all these improv show dates, like traveling around doing improv comedy, and I wrote them all down. I was already contracted to go. And so this judge, and she was kind of this tough lady, and she's like, "All right, Jeff Davis says you're going to be out of town through January, this and that and that. Then February, blah 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 blah." And that's about half of the dates and things. She says, "What do you do?" I go, I do comedy shows. And she's like, "What kind of comedy shows?" I'm like, improvisation. There's like 100 people in there who have interesting lives or mundane lives or whatever. Like you heard a lot of very specific shit. This is a new one.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I kept recording it because I was like, shit. I work like for hours coming up with
exactly.
Like people are standing up like weird. Yeah, like just so specific you can't write it.
And so she goes, she goes like, "Are you an actor?" I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "Are you going to be famous, Mr. Davis?" And I said, "Yes, Your Honor." And she goes, "Get out of here.
Get out of here." All right. That's it. Good night, folks.
Good night.